What's the benefit of making your own homemade fish food?
You know what you're putting into your fish. It's like making your own baby food, you know? You know exactly what you're giving your kid. We know exactly what we're giving our fish.
And so what do we add into it?
We added spirulina, corallina.
Chlorella?
Yeah, that one too. Corella crayons.
Stop.
And garlic, because fish love garlic. It's like...
It makes it appetizing for them.
They can't resist. It's like catnip for fish. And a lot of the good manufacturers of fish food, they'll load it up with garlic when they know their ingredients are trash, so the fish will eat it anyway.
And then we added paprika.
Paprika, that's for flavor, and it'll bring out the reds in fish.
And the spirulina.
It's a natural dye, huh?
The spirulina and the chlorella.
Spirulina, that'll bring out the blue greens.
And then we also added a probiotic.
Yes. And the vitamins, because, you know, fish like humans need vitamins.
And then we also added bokashi or bierkashi.
Bierkashi, that's your department. You know all about that.
Hello and welcome to our home. In case you're new to our channel, this is Dwayne. He's the fish guy and he is so awesome when it comes to anything fish tank related. This is actually his fish food recipe he came up with on his own, and I'm so excited to share little bits and pieces of it with you. We did add another video about us making homemade fish food when we first created our YouTube channel. It's not very detailed. It's more aesthetically pleasing than probably this one, but this video is gonna kind of dive a little bit deeper as to why we add certain ingredients into our fish food. And I do want to disclose that we are constantly changing our recipe for the fish food itself because we're constantly experimenting and seeing what works with our systems, with the chemistry of the water, and also to the biology that we create in the ecosystems in our outdoor garden and indoor jungle we've created. I'm Marissa, and bokashi is my area of expertise because I'm the plant gal and super passionate about sustainable agriculture. We started adding bokashi bran to our fish food about 1.5 years ago when some lettuce growing in our aquaponic grow bed was super bitter, even though our home was cool and the plants weren't going to seed. In researching why this was happening, I found a Japanese study that found feeding fish bokashi bran resulted in sweeter, more tasty lettuce. We started adding it to our fish food and found some great additional benefits. If you're not familiar with what bokashi is, I would definitely recommend that you stay around to the end of this video and click the recommended video at the very end because I cover a lot of that in a separate video in how we compost. Okay, so when we first started looking into using bokashi bran in our fish food or as fish food, we found that there wasn't a lot of scientific studies of using bokashi in fish food, but I can share our direct experience in its effectiveness. When we use bierkashi, a form of bokashi bran by SD microbes, we are inoculating the water with beneficial microbes and diversifying our contained ecosystems we've created. This, in turn, creates a healthier environment for our fish. The inoculants accelerate the breakdown of food and fish waste, which minimizes sludge buildup and creates a self-cleansing ability in the water. This also reduces the stress and sickness in our fish since the water quality is improved with beneficial microbes while also enhancing our fish's ability to digest their food better. You can also just top feed your fish with the bokashi. That's what we first started doing. But since goldfish are prone to swim bladder, we wanted to minimize them sucking up oxygen. As Dwayne mentioned earlier, we also add a multivitamin, chlorella, and spirulina. Chlorella and spirulina in particular are nutrient-dense algae that provide essential proteins, vitamins, minerals, and acids. As a whole, they're an excellent alternative feed for terrestrial and aquatic animals.
What's that? I need a book.
Yep.
Mmm.
Stinky.
Stinky.
No. Excuse me.
Put it again.
Hold on. Thank you, but you hold it.
We also add agar-agar as a gelatin-like binder for our fish food. This is a mix of carbohydrates extracted from red algae, which is a type of seaweed, and is completely vegetarian. We chose to use this as opposed to animal-based gelatins because we're trying to provide holistic food sources similar but not necessarily exact to what they would eat in nature. Okay, go ahead, babe.
See, the thing with these, like, look at the 40 and the 80s, like, you can't really tell them apart. But this is from a week of not doing water changes daily.
And it's because goldfish are the goats, and they'll just eat everything.
They'll eat everything. Water coming in, so it'll never have a problem.
It's a superfood. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, repashy is a superfood. Basically, you have top tier ingredients, and as you see, we add our own thing. We add a lot of organic material in there because, you know, we care about our fish. What goes in goes out.
Just as in humans, garlic is an appetite enhancer, and many scientific studies have shown that it helps promote growth, decrease mortality, and actively kill parasites in fish such as ick, thanks to a chemical compound garlic has called allicin. This is a terrestrial chemical that is yet to be found in any aquatic plants. So this is an ingredient we add with a holistic approach to maintain the health of our fish, but yet add in moderation. Paprika is another terrestrial ingredient we add to provide additional carotenoids like beta-carotene that enrich in red, orange, and yellow hues in our fish. Overall, fish coloration is determined by 3 factors, either genetics, nervous system glandular factors, and/or diet. Beyond that, however, carotenoids found in our aquatic and terrestrial ingredients we use are known to improve the antioxidant state and immune system of our fish, which results in better disease resistance, growth performance, overall health, and improved egg quality. Full disclosure, the ingredients we add to our fish food do enhance the colors of our fish organically, but our main goal is to enhance their overall health. Touching on the topic of health, we also add repashy Super Gold as a gel food premix for its wide spectrum of quality ingredients. Beyond what we've already mentioned, the repashy adds excellent protein sources with things like krill meal, black soldier fly larvae meal, squid meal, pea protein, and mussel meal. It also includes things like dandelion leaf, seaweed meal, banana powder, brewer's yeast, stinging nettle, rose hips, hibiscus flower, and marigold flower, just to name a few things. Dwayne said what goes in goes out, and that couldn't be more true. The quality of food we feed our fish creates waste, which we will then use to fertilize our indoor and outdoor gardens. If we feed them low-quality, nutrient-bankrupt food, we will receive the same output from the wastewater we use to nourish our kitchen garden, which will then in turn directly affect our food production and then our overall health. Pocahontas had it right when she said, "We are all connected in a circle, in a hoop, that never ends. To gel everything together, we add hot water, which activates the agar-agar. You have to move fast in this part of the process, so we recommend to always have some extra hot water on standby just in case you need any more. After the mixture has cooled some, but not quite solidified, we add our probiotic capsule.
All right, we're gonna let it cool and just solidify. Think of it as like a jello, basically. Just gonna let it cool off. It's gonna form. We could cut it and just freeze it. This thing will last 6 months. Oh no, Godzilla!
I tried to stop it. I tried. Okay, so in this part, we're definitely being trolled by our daughter. So back to voiceovers. Dwayne is basically saying to wait until your homemade fish food completely cools off and solidifies so you can cut it into squares. Otherwise, it'll end up being more of a crumble. And then after it's cut up, you can then freeze it for up to 6 months or refrigerate it for up to a week. The last part of the process is we cut up the fish food with a bench scraper and then flip the food over just to make sure the bottom has a chance to completely solidify. As a trick of the trade, we place the individual squares on a clean cookie sheet so we can individually freeze them before putting them in a Ziploc freezer bag for long-term freezer storage. We have found that if you just put them in a bag at this stage, they will stick together and be one big frozen mass that you'll later have to chisel away at just to separate each individual square at fish feeding time.
Where, Daddy?
It's the fish food.
It's ready.
It's ready. So we're gonna feed the fish.
Okay, cut it.
Yep, we're gonna give the fish one.
Please.
Oop, come. Down the baby. Okay, go feed the fish.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We invite you into our home by clicking that subscribe button and of course watching our other videos about how we are sustainably farming in our small suburban community. Peace and love to all.
I know.
It's a cheese. Cheese, Jaja.
Peace.